Welcome to Lesson 90, Mixed Number and Negative Coefficients. Our objective is I can solve an equation that has a mixed number or negative coefficient. Let's remember our battle for x. What we want to do is break the barriers. If there's any grouping symbols like parentheses or brackets, we want to get rid of them. Next thing we want to do is add like terms. For instance, if I have like a 3x plus 4x, I want to combine those together to get 7x. Next thing I want to do is isolate our enemies. Move all of our variables to one side and everything else to the other side. And lastly, I want to eliminate my enemies. Divide by whatever is attached to our variable. This is our battle for x. In the past, we've solved by multiplying by the reciprocal. For instance, whatever's attached to my x, my coefficient, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of it. So I flip it and I multiply. And what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. So my 4's cancel, my 5's cancel, and I'll be left with x is equal to 7 times 5 is 35 over 4. And that's all I can take out. I can't reduce anymore, so I'm done. Let's try one together. This time I have a mixed number as my coefficient, which means first thing I need to do is turn it into an improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 10/3 x is equal to 5. 10/3 x is equal to 5. So I don't have any barriers to break. I don't have any like enemies to combine, but I can, and I'm already isolated, so I need to eliminate. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 3/10. My 3's will cancel, my 10's will cancel, and I'll be left with x is equal to 15/10. I can take a 5 out of the top and bottom, and I'll be left with 3/2. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 9/8 x is equal to 36. Now I need to multiply by the reciprocal to both sides. My 8's will cancel, my 9's will cancel, and I'll be left with x is equal to 36 times 8 divided by 9. 36 times 8 is 288, divided by 9 is 32. This time I have mixed numbers on both sides of the equation, so I'm going to have to do it twice. 2 1/2 will become 5/2 times y is equal to 15/8. Now I need to multiply by or divide by whatever's attached to the y. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal to both sides. My 2's will cancel, my 5's will cancel, and I'll be left with just y. 2 times 15 is 30. 8 times 5 is 40. I can take a 10 out of the top and bottom, and I'll be left with 3/4. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. 2 3/4 w is equal to 6 3/5. So I need to turn these into mixed numbers, and I'll get 11/4 w is equal to 33/5. I need to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of whatever's attached to my variable. I'm going to do some quick cross canceling here. Divide that one by 11, divide that one by 11, and I'll get w is equal to 12/5. Or if you must, 2 2/5. 2 2/5. So I'm going to try this one in two different ways. I'm going to try it by dividing, and I'm going to try it by multiplying by the reciprocal. Let's see if we get the same answer. So I don't have any barriers to break. I don't have anything that I can combine on the same side. I'm already isolated. All of my x's on one side and everything else is already on the other side. So now I just need to eliminate. So I'm going to do that by dividing both sides by -3. My negative will cancel and my 3 will cancel. And what I do to one side, I have to do, to the other side. So x will be equal to 126 divided by 3 is 42, and I have a negative, so -42. Let's multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of dividing both sides by -3, I could multiply by the reciprocal and multiply both sides by -1/3. My 3's will cancel, my negatives will cancel, and I'll be left with x is equal to -126 thirds. So x is equal to -42. I get the same thing either way. Go ahead and choose one of the methods and try it out on your own. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. I need to get rid of this -2/3 by multiplying it by the reciprocal to the other side. My 2's will cancel, my 3's will cancel, my negative will cancel, and I'll be left with x. I'm going to do a little bit of cross-canceling first. Take a 2 out of there, take a 2 out of there. 2 times -3 is -6. 5 times 1 is 5. -6/5. Let's try this one now. I'm going to divide both sides by -5. I'll get x is equal to 0.24 divided by -5 is -0.048. Go ahead and try this last one on your own. Now that you've tried it on your own, let's do it together. I want to divide both sides by -10. My negatives will cancel, my 10's will cancel, and I'll be left with y. My negatives will cancel, and I'll be left with 1.6 divided by 10, which is 0.16. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.